All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So today we're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. In my opinion, they're still flying so under the radar. This is one of the best rosters in the NFL. This is one of the best teams in the league, and they're still Super Bowl contenders. And if anything, they severely improved this past offseason, offensively highlighted by the additions of Trent Brown, Mike Gesicki, Zach Moss. Defensively, you bring back Von Bell, you steal Geno Stone, you bring in Sheldon Rankings. This is a team where Joe Burrow, the star quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the entire National Football League, missed like half of the year due to a season-ending injury. And some way, somehow, the Cincinnati Bengals with Jake Browning still finished above 500. They still finished 9-8, and they're just flying so under the radar right now. I have a quote here from Jared Bailey, and this was the quote: "Everyone seems to be sleeping on the Bengals. With a healthy Joe Burrow and the usual suspects on offense, they can't be counted out. They needed veteran talent in the secondary, so they signed Geno Stone and brought back Von Bell. The Bengals seem like the forgotten team because their quarterback was injured throughout most of the season. But if they live up to their potential, they'll be one of the best teams in the league." Folks, their win-loss record that Vegas has them at, their win total, 10.5. Do not fade the Cincinnati Bengals. There is no reason to. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We post a ton of Bengals videos on this channel. Bengals fans, I love you guys as always. If you try and get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So the draft's coming up. We're about a month away from the NFL draft, and the Cincinnati Bengals have 10 total draft picks. They've got a mid to late first round pick. I saw a tweet from PFF Bengals saying, "Can you imagine this offense next season?" It was Joe Burrow, Zach Moss, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the current prospects, and then Brock Bowers. And that, to me, would change literally everything. Speaking of the tight end room, we'll start off with the tight end room. Mike Gesicki was a great acquisition. I feel like the last two seasons have just been very underwhelming. I don't think he was ever properly utilized in the last couple of seasons. But if he's going to give me over 500 receiving yards, kind of reminiscent of Hayden Hurst, Irv Smith Jr. came into town last year and it ended up just being a colossal failure. When I look at the tight end room, it's not even like they need a player like Brock Bowers, right? I think they should probably go cornerback in the first round because they desperately need another cornerback. But when we look at this tight end room, Mike Gesicki, Drew Sample, Hudson, I think all of these guys are just pretty underrated, and Joe Burrow is going to have a good time, and it's just very versatile, right? And we take a look at the running back room with the departure of Joe Mixon. Well, I've still got Zach Moss, who was one of the best running backs in the NFL when Jonathan Taylor was injured to start the Colts season last year. He can run, he can catch, he can do a little bit of everything. I still got a sneaky pick in Chase Brown, a rookie last season. Chase Brown, in my opinion, this is a dude who absolutely feasted. He played like 5 years at college. His final year at Illinois, he was one of the best rushers in the National Football League. But obviously, offensively, there's really only a couple of things I need. And first off, we do have the T. Higgins thing. T. Higgins franchise tag, right? It does kind of appear like this could be his last season as a Cincinnati Bengal. I do imagine he plays the entire season. He requested a trade not too long ago. But I think he plays most of the season or all of the season with the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, they will still 100%, in my opinion, go with a wide receiver either in round 2, maybe more so like round 3, because they've got a couple of draft picks in the 3rd round. But you do need to start finding that T. Higgins replacement, regardless if he's on the roster or not. The Cincinnati Bengals did lose Tyler Boyd, or are going to lose him. I don't believe he is signed yet. It would be cool if he came back. We look at the wide receiver room, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. That's one of the best duos in the entire National Football League. But the veteran, reliable receiver in Tyler Boyd is gone. And so you're definitely going to see at least one wide receiver coming to town through the draft for the Cincinnati Bengals. But still, folks, on paper, especially their offensive line, that's the other thing I need to see from Cincinnati is just a healthy start to the season. And Joe Burrow is on time with his surgery, post-surgery. Joe Burrow will be back healthy, good to go at the start of next season. So they bring in Trent Brown, the right tackle from the New England Patriots. And now I look at the offensive line. I got Orlando Brown Jr., last year's big time free agent splash. I've got Cordell Volson. I've got Ted Karras. I've got Alex Kappa. I've got Trent Brown. It's one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League. And to me, T. Higgins situation regardless, Joe Burrow regardless, on paper, the Cincinnati Bengals, if they are healthy to start next season and they, hopefully can get off to a much better start than they have in previous seasons, they're going to be one of the best teams in the entire AFC. So yeah, T. Higgins, expect some new wide receivers coming to town. I don't think they'll get Brock Bowers, but that is just kind of a fun hypothetical there. Defensively, they did lose some pieces, right? Most notably DJ Reader to the Detroit Lions. But seriously, the additions of Von Bell, I think, is flying under the radar. Bengals fans obviously are very familiar with Von Bell and what he provided you guys a couple of years ago. He's just like a leader. He's just a great mentor and just a great quote unquote veteran safety or veteran guy to have in the safety room. And we're going to pair him up with new addition Geno Stone. You're going to see some turnovers. You're going to see some big time plays, but they're going to make everyone else better. Cam Taylor-Britt, also like a lot of these Bengals players, kind of just flies under the radar. You bring in DJ Turner, Mike Hilton, Sheldon Rankins, Trey Hendrickson, Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson. It's still, in my opinion, one of the better linebacker rooms in the National Football League. And the defensive line with Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson coming off literally a phenomenal season, almost getting to 20 total sacks. The Bengals defense hasn't gone anywhere. And I mean that, obviously in a good sense. It's hard to really evaluate them last year because they did have huge safety holes. They were like the fifth worst pass defense last season. They were the sixth worst rush defense last season. But we got to take all this with a grain of salt because unfortunately they did start the season very poorly. They were 1-3 and then they rattled off 4 straight victories. And then you got the Joe Burrow injury. So everyone's still kind of sleeping on the Cincinnati Bengals, and I don't think that will last for long. I do think they'll make some type of big-time splash, whether that's in round 1 with a stud cornerback, one-level player, or if it's a guy like Brock Bowers or an eventual T. Higgins replacement. This Bengals team is only going to be better 1 month from today, and they're already a much better team than they were last year. That secondary help, the Von Bell and Geno Stone acquisitions, those cannot be underestimated. This is one of the best teams in the National Football League, and the only thing stopping the Cincinnati Bengals, in my opinion, is themselves, and I mean that in a health-wise. A health standpoint. If Cincinnati is healthy to start this upcoming season, and they can be healthy, you're not always going to be fully healthy. If you can be healthy for a majority of the season, and most importantly, Joe Burrow plays the entire year, folks, this Bengals team are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I don't need to explain that to you guys because we're well aware of Joe Burrow. We're well aware of the Cincinnati Bengals and what they've done in the past couple of years, making the Super Bowl, rattling off, double-digit wins, and then unfortunately barely losing to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. This Bengals team is terrifying, and they should scare you. So that's it from me. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, but Bengals fans especially, let me know your confidence rating scale, 1 out of 10, 10 being overly confident or extremely confident on your Bengals squad next season. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.